guess who I'm with? I'm with SAI Byrd, our state auditor and inspector, and I'm so excited because we've been trying to get a time to sit down and chat with her a little bit. She is doing the audit of the Oklahoma State Department of Education, which many of you know if you followed ROPE for a long time. We've asked for an audit of the State Department of Education since, I don't know, 2011 or something, and now it's actually going to happen. And so I just wanted to have a chance to have you tell us a little bit about kind of where you are in the process right now. Is there anything that you can talk about that you're seeing? When do you expect it to be finished? I mean, just any information you can give us would be great.
Okay, so remember Governor Stitt asked me to conduct an audit of the State Department of Education. It is the most requested audit that I get.
I can't imagine.
And so he finally asked for that audit, and we are looking into that right now. The first part of the audit, well, let's talk about the objectives of the audit. Governor Stitt has asked us to look at all of the money flowing into SDE and to map that out to show taxpayers how their tax dollar gets to the child in the classroom.
Because how many tax dollars do we allot? What is the portion of the budget for the Oklahoma State Department of Education compared to the total budget of Oklahoma?
Okay, so we're looking at fiscal year 21, and for that year, the amount of money that went into public education from K through 12 grades is $7.6 billion. Now, out of that, yeah, that's a lot of money. So there are also 546 school districts across the state. So we'll be looking at mapping out that funding from the state, local, and federal levels. And one of the things that I found interesting about this is that you would expect a lot of federal funds. Well, out of that $7.6 billion, $781 million approximately is the amount of federal funds the state received. And
So for that fractional amount of the budget, we're actually doing things like accepting federal standards on our schools, and like what Biden has done. President Biden has said that he wants to tie Title IX to having transgender athletes in women's sports. Transgender people use the bathroom with girls. So all of these federal things that we're seeing happening in our public schools are happening just for that small amount of money in the total budget?
That's all they received for fiscal year 2021. And of the $781 million that was sent to the state, only one of the 77 programs had matching funds, and that was the child nutrition program. Okay. So it's a lot of money coming from the federal grant with restrictions. So back to the objectives of the audit, we're going to be mapping out all of the funds. For those federal funds that the state of Oklahoma is receiving, we are going to be listing out the CFDA numbers, putting links to that information where a taxpayer can go out here and see exactly what restrictions are tied to those federal funds.
You can do that?
Yes, you're going to be able to read it for yourself.
Honestly, that is phenomenal. I think that will be eye-opening for just thousands, millions of Oklahomans. That's wonderful news.
Yes, so that's part one of the audit, is mapping out the funding flow and making sure that the money was spent in accordance with law. The second part of the audit will be to look at contracts and expenditures to see if there are any efficiencies to be found or where the money went for these contracts. The third part of the audit will be to look at the OCAS financial reporting, to make sure that the schools are accurately reporting what they spent on administrative costs. You know, one of the biggest gripes I hear from people across the state is the cost of administration in school districts.
Absolutely.
So we're going to be mapping that out and making sure that all of those schools are complying. I want to make 2 points here. First of all, an audit of the State Department of Education is only going to cover the finances.
Okay.
Everything else is going to be a fight for you all to have.
Oh, that's fine.
But in the second part,
we're used to fighting for things.
So in the second part is we're not auditing the 546 individual school districts. We're auditing the State Department of Education. And
excellent clarification, by the way.
And we do believe that once this audit is complete, and it's going to be issued in 3 parts, but once those 3 parts are published, we believe that this is going to probably springboard into other audits, maybe performance audits in different areas of the State Department of Education. And I think that's what taxpayers really want.
I agree. So when do you think you're going to have your first section available?
The first section is in the draft reporting stages. So it is, it's going to be very important to get that information out there, and we'll have it. Well, I would say 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
really?
Yes, now.
So you're really closing in on the date
On
then.
part 1.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, Cindy, I know you're very busy and I won't take any more time. We just wanted to hear how it's going. I think you've answered the questions. I think that most people really want to know about what this state auditor is doing to audit the State Department of Education. So thank you so much for taking your time, and we just expect you to be reelected in
Thanks,
June.
Jenny. Thank
Thanks
you
so
very
much.
much.